Hi, I'm Ian Tipping. Welcome to Vocal Harmony Foundations. We are straight into the studio today, as you can see. In the last video, we talked about harmonizing a lead line a third above. Today, we're going to be talking about harmonizing a lead line a third below. Now, I realized that in the last video, I didn't actually explain what a third was. So very, very quickly, this is A flat major. That's an A flat major chord. And here is A flat major scale. Okay. If we take a random note from that scale, let's take that one, why not? That's a C. Okay, imagine that's our first note. Within the scale, we play one note higher, the second note. We play those two together. That is a second. It's kind of unpleasant to most people. That's the interval of a second. If we play the first note again, we skip out the second note and play the third note of the scale up from there, play those two together, we get the interval of a third. Rather nicer for most people's ears. Same thing happens as we go down as well. So again, there's our first note, there's our second note. We play just the first and the third note together in the scale, and that again is a third. Now this is true all the way through the scale, so that's a third, 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 and that's a third. Also, if we take that first note again, it was that one, wasn't it? Yep. And we go 1, 2, 3, 4 up the scale. That's a fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a fifth. Simple as that. Same happens on the way down. And that is true all the way up the keyboard and all the way down the keyboard for as far as an A flat major scale goes. And that is true regardless of what key you're in. As long as you stay within the parent scale, then if you take a note, you skip the next one, you play the next one, play those two notes together, you get a third. Okay, easy peasy. So, straight back into the exercises. Now, for those of you who followed along with the first video, these exercises are going to sound quite familiar, these first few, because they are musically identical to what we did in that first video. We're still basing them on Frère Jacques and Three Blind Mice. The difference being that when you were singing them in the previous video, you were singing the higher part and you were harmonizing with the lead line, which was lower. This time you will be singing the lower part and you'll be harmonizing with the lead line, which is higher. Okay, so apart from that, they're the same. So your lead line, which is the one you're not going to sing, the one you're going to leave out, will be in your left ear as it was before. It's the other line though this time, it's the higher one, okay? The reference one, the one you do want to sing, is in your right ear. So as always, your lead line is in your left ear, leave it out. Your right ear has the reference part in it, that's the one you're copying along with, that's the one you're recreating. My advice would be, very quickly, when you're doing this for the first time, take your left earbud out, or push your left headphone behind your ear like that, so that you can only hear the right ear. Play it through, just being able to hear the right ear. Make sure you get that really, really nailed. Then put your left earbud back in, or your left headphone back on your ear. Sing along so you can hear your reference and the lead line at the same time. And then when you are really, really comfortable, and not until, then that's when you take off your right ear and you just sing along with the lead line, and you will sing the harmony with that. Okay. So the first exercise, we're going to take the notes of Frère Jacques, as I said. Now in the previous one, you were singing the notes of Dormez-vous. This time you will be singing Frère Jacques, but just do it to an R. So you'll be singing ah, ah, etc. And you will do that 8 times altogether. Okay, so straight in with the Frère Jacques notes to an R. Here we go. You'll hear a piano chord to start with. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, so that's the first one. The next one we're going to do is the notes of Three Blind Mice. Again, you're going to be singing the notes of the Three Blind Mice line over and over again. So three blind mice, or ah, ah. And the lead part in the left ear will be singing the See How They Run line. So the See How They Run. So your notes are ah. Okay, here we go. I hope you got that okay. If you didn't though, don't worry. If you're finding this significantly more difficult than singing the upper harmony, singing a third above the lead line, then you are not alone. The vast majority of people find it more difficult to work this way round while they're singing below the lead line. It's just one of those things, okay? It probably will require more practice. I know very, very, very experienced musicians that are infinitely more comfortable singing the harmony above the lead line than the harmony below it. So don't worry, you will get there. You just need to practice it. Okay, so carrying on from there, we're still going to be working with Frère Jacques. This time we're going to move up the scale. So you're going to sing Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques. Now this time you will do it with the words, and then immediately straight afterwards, if you're comfortable with it, it will be the same thing as an R. So it'll be ah, 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 back down again, ah, ah, ah. Okay, so here we go with that one. I'm just going to run these exercises straight one from one into the other one. Here we go. Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques. And now the same thing to an R. Right then, now we're going to do exactly the same exercises again, this time to the Three Blind Mice version. So three blind mice, 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 three blind mice. Then again as an R. Ah, 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 ah. Here we go. Three blind mice, 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 three blind mice. Same thing as an R. So why do we sing in thirds? Well, the truth is, it's a choice. If you're hearing two voices together in harmony, usually thirds are the ones that sound most pleasant, at least to people who've been listening to, in its widest possible sense, Western music for most of their lives. It's just the sounds just work together beautifully. But as we've already established, generally speaking, singing a third above or singing a harmony above the lead line is just easier. So why don't we just stick to doing that? Well, there are simply some times when it doesn't really work. And I'm going to give you an example now, again with a song you all know, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I've prepared an example with a harmony above the principal line. So we're now in G major, which is this one. So, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Now, this is a cappella, harmonised, harmonised with myself a third above. The first note, the first twinkle, I've done as a unison. Okay, so they both start on the same note and then they split into harmony. Have a listen. See if you think this sounds okay. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Now, you may have thought that sounded really nice. And, you know, in its own, well, aside from the fact that it was me singing it, it sounds okay. The thing is, though, generally, when we would harmonise that song, the first couple of lines we would harmonise with something called something like this. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Now, if you listen to that again with those chords behind it, this is only the first two lines, but if you listen to that again with those chords behind it, just see what you think. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Right, okay. Now, some of you may have been listening to that and thinking, well, it's okay, but there is something that sounds a bit odd. This is what it is. Okay, so that first note, twinkle, that's fine. The next note I sing is this one, twinkle. Now, what the note I'm actually singing is this one, which is an F sharp, okay? And I'm singing it against these. I'm singing twinkle, twinkle. To most people's ear, that sounds quite unpleasant. So that's why there are times when these don't work. I mean, particularly because it's a simple song. If we were doing something like that's a bit more sophisticated, like jazz or something like that, then maybe that'd be cool. But it's a nursery rhyme. We're going a bit sophisticated here. Now then, same thing again, but just the first couple of lines, but with me singing a harmony a third below the lead line. Again, the first note is a unison. See what you think of this one. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Now, to most people, that just sounds better because of the way that the notes that I'm singing work against the chords that are playing along with it. It's just one of those things. And in a similar sense, there's a song that's become very, very popular recently that has exactly this quality about it. It is called The Weller Man. It's a sea shanty, and unless you've been living under a rock recently, you'll have heard it. Okay. Now, I've put this in quite a high key. The reason why is so that our female listeners can sing a harmony. So have a listen to this. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. And certainly the version of this that's become famous recently, that's what he sings alongside the lead vocal. It establishes the kind of the underlying chords much more clearly than if you sing a third above. In fact, the third above kind of makes things sound a bit off. Not quite what you're expecting to hear. So I'm just going to play that again, just so that you can hear what's going on again. And this time, by all means, join in. Again, the reference is in your right ear, the lead is in your left ear. It's very, very short. So go over it as many times as you want to get comfortable with singing this. I should say that the final note is in fact a unison. So it's the one point where you're not singing thirds. Here we go. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. As I've said in the previous video, don't put too much pressure on yourself to get this right immediately. It does take time and work to get these things really comfortable and together. So listen to the exercises in isolation, go over them as many times as you need to. Don't push yourself too hard. Take one exercise a day, possibly two or something like that. Make sure you're really, really comfortable. Don't go for singing along with the lead line until you're really comfortable with what the reference line should be. I mean, obviously with the last two, with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and Wellerman, you probably know the lead line so strongly that you'll actually kind of hear it even when it's not there. But do your best to really get on top of that. And yeah, so once you've done these two videos, you will have nailed singing third harmony above and third harmony below. In the next video, we're going to talk a little bit about those notes that don't really work so well. So when we were singing that higher harmony with the Twinkle Twinkle, why did it not feel quite so right, and how can we change it? So I will see you again in a short period of time when I will have another video up, and in the meantime, good harmonising, and I'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye bye.